brief summary of class 3. We have learned the definition of Atma in the last 2 classes, but we need to understand that we do not get the experience of Atma by knowing the definition. We have to do sadhana to realize it. Therefore, a great emphasis is given on practice and sadhana. When one does sadhana correctly, intensely, and efficiently, the result is automatic. Swamiji gave an example of cooking rice. Just like we collect all the ingredients and put it on fire to cook the rice, we also have to collect the ingredients like efficiency, effort, etc. And then only we will get the result. There are many sadhanas, and this may confuse the sadhaka. Therefore, it is said that one needs vairagya and viveka to reach the goal. Shankara Bhagavad Padar tells us what leads to the direct cause of liberation, that is, realization of Atma. Each direct cause may have many indirect causes, which are supportive causes or contributory causes, which support or contribute the main cause. The second sloka introduces us to the direct cause for liberation, and that is knowledge. The direct cause for liberation is knowledge. Like for cooking, the direct cause is fire. All other ingredients are supporting causes only. Thus, Atma Jnanam is the direct cause for liberation. An Atma Jnani will not declare that he is a Jnani, as he does not see his body, mind, intellect, and prana, etc. as himself. He has realized the Sat Chit Ananda Brahma. The realization of Atma itself is Jnanam, and without knowledge, liberation cannot be accomplished. Whatever we practice like bhakti, karma yoga, meditation, etc., all these are sadhanas only. They are only to gain this knowledge. Each of these sadhanas, they purify the mind and body at different levels. Jnana is of 2 types. Paroksha Jnana, that is indirect knowledge, and Aparoksha Jnana, direct knowledge. These have been explained in detail and clearly by our Pujya Swamiji. Swamiji also explained Vritti Jnanam, where the thought processing happens, and Swarūpa Jnanam, here there is no thought process and no effort. Swamiji explained the difference between Vritti Jnana, Jnana, and action. Karma, that is action, goes along with ignorance. It cannot dispel ignorance. Only knowledge can destroy ignorance. Just like the darkness being removed by light and by no other means. As the light comes in, the darkness disappears. Karma Yoga is also a sadhana. It is a step. It purifies the mind and makes it more sattvic, which helps in getting the knowledge. If one studies all the Shastras without Karma Yoga, one will get all the information which can make one egoistic. Normal knowledge and spiritual knowledge are 2 different things. Whereas Vritti Jnana is a thought process. It is also action. On repeated practice of this, slowly one gets into the real knowledge. And when it combines with pure knowledge, that is Chaitanya, this Vritti Jnana loses its resistance and karma, and it gets more clarity. Once you meditate on this slowly, it becomes Swarūpa Jnana, and the action part of Vritti Jnana will reduce and stop by practice. In the process of Nididhyasanam, the Vritti Jnana becomes Brahmakara Vritti, the Brahma Jnana, which is all-pervading. Then the sadhaka feels that this knowledge is there, the existence of knowledge. It is not my knowledge. It is not anybody's knowledge. There is no individual identity. At this stage, there is no action. The mind stops. This is samadhi. This samadhi is called nididhyasa. Here, the indirect knowledge becomes one with the direct knowledge, one with Atma. This is stated in Upanishad as Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Hari Om Swamiji.
तपोक्षीण पापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्ष्योऽयम् आत्मबोधोऽभिधीयते। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्य कृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम नमो नारायणाय। From the second verse of Atmabodha to fifth verse, all the means of the direct means of moksha is described. So in the last verse, the third verse, you have seen why the action karma is not the direct cause of knowledge. Karma or karma yoga is an indirect means of knowledge. Without karma yoga, the antakarna shuddhi, the purification of mind is not possible. But the knowledge is always the direct means for moksha or Atma Jnana. Now, we had discussed the difference between Vritti Jnaana and the Swarūpa Jnaana. The Vritti Jnaana means the knowledge which depend on thought process. Like any other thought, the knowledge of Atman is also a thought. So this is called Vritti Jnaana. In Vedanta, we call it Paroksha Jnana as well. And this Vritti Jnana is the destroyer of ignorance. That's also we discussed. And the Swarūpa Jnaana, the nature of Atman, which is always there without any change. The Atman itself is knowledge. That knowledge is always there. Hence, it has no difference from the existence of Atman. Therefore, when there is ignorance, the Swarūpa Jnana is all there. But the Vritti Jnana is not there. Vritti Jnana is produced, or it is a manifestation of thought. And we know whatever is produced, that must be destroyed, or we can say it cannot be eternal. So what is produced is always produced for a purpose. Once that purpose is completed, that it goes away, or it disappears, or it is destroyed. So this logic is applied even with the Brahma Jnana. When we call Brahma Jnana as a thought or the knowledge of Brahman. Now we say when knowledge of Brahman, you please carefully listen to these two words, because it may make many confusions. When we say knowledge of Brahman, we call it Brahma Jnana. Okay? So Brahma Jnana means knowledge of Brahman. Is it correct? But when we say knowledge of Brahman, this knowledge is Vritti Jnana. It means this is not ultimate knowledge. Like any other knowledge, you have knowledge of an object. You have knowledge of flower. You have knowledge of cloth. You have knowledge of anything. Similarly, you have knowledge of Brahman. You got detailed information regarding Brahman. So that is informative knowledge. You see, with this knowledge, you can be a master, you can be a teacher or master, you can preach very well on Brahman. We can teach people Vedanta because you have knowledge. Like you have knowledge of science, you can teach science. You have knowledge of mathematics, you can teach mathematics. You have knowledge of language or grammar, you can teach grammar, language. So you are a master of that. So this knowledge is called Vritti Jnaana. Okay. So Vritti Jnaana help us to dispel the ajnana, that is ignorance. So by this Vritti Jnaana, we will study Vedanta in detail and in depth, and we change our mind by this thought process. Okay, after some time, we become a good Vedantists. We can preach well, no, we can understand things very well. There will be a correct discriminative knowledge with the existence and non-existence, Atma and Anatma. You will get everything. But this knowledge is not ultimate, because this knowledge can also be changed. Like you change your subject of study after few years. No, you studied something else, and after a few years, you change the subject and study something else. It's possible. And the same thing is possible here also. So you study Vedanta, you become master of Vedanta, you learned all the technical terms of Vedanta and the methodology of Vedanta. Everything you learned. In a decade, you can do all these things. But it's not permanent, because it can change the thought process. Now you will understand things very correctly, systematically. You can control your mind, all the senses, and everything will be okay. There is no problem with all this. Even though the nature of Brahman is different from this. This is why this Vritti Jnaana is secondary knowledge. The same word is used for this as well. Both Brahmajnana is used for Brahmajnana and Vritti Jnana. Now, what is the nature of Brahman? If this Brahmajnana, the knowledge of Brahman is secondary, then what is the original one? That knowledge is also called Brahmajnana, but there we say the knowledge Brahman itself. We don't say the knowledge of Brahman. The knowledge itself is Brahman. So if knowledge itself is Brahman, then there is no chance of going out of that. So once you experience that, you are there always, because that is beyond thought process. Only you will get the reflection of that experience. The reflection, it means you will feel that I know Brahman. I am experiencing that. This is my essential nature. Without this, I am not. I have no existence. So with all these feelings, inner feelings, you experience Brahman. So this state of mind, this state of experience is also called Brahmajnana, but this knowledge of, it is not a knowledge of Brahman, this is knowledge itself. The Brahman itself is knowledge. Okay, there is no media, there is no medium. It is without medium. It cannot appear as thought process. Therefore, the ego cannot say that I know Brahman. the Jivan Mukta will not say, I know Brahman. The last class I mentioned this. I think you remember it. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. So this is the reason that he will not declare that I am Brahman. You take the example of our own life. We are human beings. So anytime we declare that I am a human being, there is no need to declare. So the human being is it becomes our nature. So there is no need to declare that, say that I am a human being, I am a human being, I am a human being. There is no need. When something goes wrong, if something happens, some quarrel or some dispute or some abuse or something happens, then with the feeling of the emotional feeling, we may say, you see, I am also a human being. I have emotions, I have feelings, I have all this. No, we say sometimes in that context, in particular context. But normally there is no need. So in the stage of agitation, what we say is not natural, no? That we all know. When the mind is agitated, whatever we say, whatever we act, it is not normal. Okay, it is unnormal. So normally we never say that I am human being. But in the state of agitation, we may say something that is different thing. Similarly, when the experiencer have this experience of Brahman, the nature of Brahman, that is Swarūpa Jnaana. Okay. So then there is no need to declare or make that knowledge as thought process. The sweetness and the bliss of that is so much so, if mind works there, then he feels, oh, it is not necessary. I don't need any thought process here. It's so much sweet, so much in the state of calmness. Like if we are in a good sleep, for example, in deep sleep, you are experiencing that. So when somebody wake you up, then what you feel? Oh, what was necessary to wake me up? I was getting a good sleep. I don't need any thoughts. I don't need any actions now. So you see that mind, how it reacts. Because in the state of sleep, you are also experiencing the nature of Brahman without effort. It means, though the ignorance is there, but you are experiencing the same, the nature of that. So there, it is impossible or it is very difficult to describe what is happening there. If someone wants to deliberately say what had happened, he has to choose so many examples, so many things to make it happen, to deliver to somebody what he had experienced. So this is the difference between Vritti Jnaana and Brahma Jnana. So through Vritti Jnaana, ultimately we reach our nature of experience, the Brahma Jnana. So both are Brahma Jnana. The word is used the same, but one is Vritti Jnana. It can be defined as knowledge of Brahman, and the same word Brahma Jnana can be defined as Brahma Jnana. The knowledge itself is Brahman. The nature of Brahman is knowledge. So in both ways we have experiences. The knowledge of Brahman we have experience through our mind and intellect. We enjoy it by ego that I know Brahman. I am a knower of Brahman. I am a student of Vedanta. So this way we experience that. But in that stage, ultimate stage, there is no such declaration. There is no such observation. It's beyond that. So this is what we are discussing. Now we take the next verse, next sloka, fourth sloka, which is also the same description of the sadhana of direct sadhana of liberation. So see the sloka. Paricinna Ajnaanat Tannāśesadi kevalaha
Tannāśesadi kevalaha
Swayam prakāśate hyātmā
Svayam prakāśate hyātmā
Meghāpāyem shumāniva.
Mekāpāyem shumāniva.
It says Paricinna Ajnaanat Tannāśesadi kevalaha Swayam prakāśate hyātmā Meghāpāye amshumāniva. We see the word meaning. Paricinna Ajnaanat. The nature of Brahman is all-pervading, infinite. The infinite Brahman is become finite by ignorance, because of ignorance. How it happens? Paricinna Ajnaanat. How can we make infinite as finite one? Only by ignorance we can do that. There is no other means, no other way to do that with material, with material objects or even with thought. So Paricinnaha iva ajnanat. If you want space limited, if you want to make the space limited, it's not possible by action. It is not possible by thoughts. It is possible by, only possible by ignorance. Because you have to forget the nature of space, then say space is limited in my room. We say no, in my room space is limited, I cannot keep all these things. So we say that. So that limitation, because of the attributive adjuncts, what we say as ubadhis, we are attributing inside the walls of the room, the four side walls of the room, to the space, into the space, and say space is limited. That what we say is correct. Inside my room, space is limited. My room is spacious. That is also because of room, because of these surrounding walls. So this is how we limit infinite into finite. The all-pervading appears to be finite on account of the attributions attributed to it. Okay? The all-pervading appears, all-pervading Brahman, infinite Brahman appears to be finite. Now you see, in our body, we call it Jivatma. This self, thus this ego self. It appears to be limited and finite and only in this body. We never feel ourselves out of the body. Do we feel that? No, never. We feel ourselves inside the body, limited to this body. Now, what is the reason? The reason is we are identifying ourselves with this body constitution. So this is how we say it is attributed to the self. This body adjunct is attributed to the self. So the self is called human being, man, woman, everything. So this is how Paricinna iva akashe. Therefore he says iva, as if it is finite. All pervading appears to be finite. Actually, it cannot be. So there is the word iva, Paricinna iva ajnana. So because of ignorance. Now, tannase sadi kevalaha. When this ignorance is destroyed, on its destruction, tannashe, it means on its destruction, ignorance destruction. Kevalaha, this Atma alone exists. There is no cause, no attribution, nothing different than the self. There is no separation, no object which can be compared or which can be connected to the self. Therefore, this ajnanam, the ignorance, is the only cause for all this is what is happening. The tannashe sati kevalaha. Then Atma alone exists. Swayam prakashade Atma. How it happens? When the ajnanam, the ignorance is removed, destroyed by the knowledge, then the self, Atma, reveals itself. Swayam prakashate Atma. It reveals itself. So there is no other sadhana to establish Atma. Only thing that one has to remove the ignorance. If we succeed to remove the ignorance, Atma appears itself. So, Swayam Prakasha, this is what it said, Atma is Swayam Prakasha, the self-revealing Swayam Prakasha. There is no need to put any other effort. It is always reveals itself if there is no ignorance. So, Swayam Prakashate Atma. Now you can see the analogy given here. Meghapaye amshumaniva. Meghapaye amshumaniva. Amshuman means sun. Amshuman. Amshuman means sun. The light rays are called amshu in Sanskrit. The rays of light is called sun, amshu. So amshuman means one who has those rays of light. He is called amshuman. We can see that even in those days, they could understand this light travels in the form of rays. Therefore, they made this name for sun. Amshumaniva. Okay, Amshuman, the sun. So, sun shines itself when there is no clouds. Okay. If the clouds are removed by wind, the fairy wind, then the sun shines itself. So megha apaye, when clouds pass away, go away, then the sun reveals itself. It shines itself. Because the nature of sun is light. Similarly, when there is no ignorance, Atma reveals itself. It can happen anytime. It can, even today, it can happen. The next moment, it can happen. It can happen anytime. After sleep, before sleep, in the workplace, we don't know where it is going to happen. This is the speciality of this knowledge. Only it can happen when you are in meditation. No, it can happen when you are eating. It can happen when you are cooking. It can happen when you are driving. It can happen anywhere. If the sadhanas are completed, the mind has that seriousness. Mind is always seeking that knowledge. Then it can happen. Anywhere it can happen. So keep this thoughts in mind and try to repeat whenever you have this awareness. Try to think that I am that self. I am not different from the self. Like now, we always say, I am this, I am that, I am this body, I am this mind, I have this, I have that. Always with this ego. So we have a constant practice of this ego. Therefore, we are ego, we are living in ego, the ego centralized life. Because every moment, with every every thought that we are thinking that I am this. So change this slowly and try to think I am that Brahman. So this is what is called Brahma Jnana. Try to keep this thought again and again. When we constantly practice this, it will change the mind. This is the only way. That is why I said, if you keep this practice seriously, then you can see the change. Every moment, the change can be seen. And the revelation will happen anytime. So this is the practice here. Now, the same subject is continued in fifth sloka. The fifth sloka, the doubt is, now is you say there is a Brahma Jnanam, that's also the knowledge of Brahman. Since it is knowledge of Brahman, it is a thought process as we discussed. Now, when this thought process, when this thought Brahman is going to stop, what would happen to that thought after realization? Okay, this is the question asked by a serious student of Vedanta. Because Brahma Jnana is also a thought. So all the thoughts has the same character. Like we are changing all other thoughts and dissolving those thoughts into Brahma Jnana. Okay? So everywhere, with all objects, we are contemplating on Brahma. So we can say the other thoughts are dissolved into this thought as Brahma Jnana. Right? So if this is the case, now what would happen to this thought? The thought which dissolved everything. So this question can come. So we have to answer that question. Because logically, we have to say that what would happen to that thought? Should we practice any other meditation for that? Or what we can do? So this important question is answered in this fifth sloka. Ajnana kalusham jivam jnanabhyasad vinirmalam kritva jnanam swayam nasyet jalam katakarenuvat. Ajnana kalusham jivam jnanabhyasad vinirmalam kritva jnanam swayam nasyet jalam katakarenuvat. It says, Ajnana kalusham jivam. This jiva, the reflective consciousness, reflected consciousness, the consciousness reflected in the mind is called jiva. Okay. Antakarana pratibimbitam chaitanyam. This we have learned in Attmabodha. Okay. Sometimes no, sometimes you have to revise Attmabodha in between for the technical clarifications. So these all the words are defined there. So what is jiva? You can see in Attmabodha. What is jiva? So Antakarana Pratibimbida Chaitanya, as all those are there. So this jiva, ajnana kalushitam. This jiva stained by ignorance. Kalushitam means stained by ignorance. Therefore, jiva become limited, as we already had seen in last verse. Ajnana kalusham jivam. The jiva who is stained by ignorance, misunderstanding, jnanabhyasad vinirmalam. Now, to remove that stain, what should be practiced? Jnana. Jnana. So now you say, what is this jnana? This jnana which is being practiced, which is advised to practice. Advice, no, it is not the natural jnana, it is Vritti Jnaana. The natural jnana cannot be practiced, the nature of Brahman. So this jnana is which is being practiced. That's the Vritti Jnaana. Ajnana kalusham jivam jnana abhyasat. By the constant practice of Vritti Jnaana, Brahmakara Vritti. I am that Brahman. Brahman is the only reality. Brahman is Sat Chit Ananda. So I am also Brahman. Aham Brahmaasmi. There is nothing than Brahman. Only Brahman exists. The cause and effect and modification, everything's Brahman alone. So these thoughts with logic applied into that's called manana. So whatever we learn, we should apply logic. This is the beauty of Vedanta. Vedanta says you don't just listen and believe it. Only believing doesn't work here. Okay, you learn it, listen it, and contemplate on that and apply logic. Find your own logic as well as the logic given by Shastras and Gurus. So this should be applied. Then only mind will receive that. Otherwise, if you don't apply logic, mind will take for some time and then leave it away. Because it has no logic. We don't know it. It may be right, may not be right. So if these doubts come, it means mind is not going to take it with this. It's going to leave it after some time. So it may be, it may not be, it's not a question. You prove it. If it is right, you try to prove it. If it is wrong, again you try to prove it. So the logic rightly applied make the conviction strong and steady. So then the mind is stable there. That is called samadhi nididhyasana. So we need Shravana, and we need to apply logic with whatever we learned, that is manana, and then the firm conviction that this is correct. This is what we should experience. This is what is our reality. So it is one with that knowledge. Okay, that is called Jnana Abhyasa. This is called Jnana Abhyasa. So first thing is Shravana. So we should do Shravana, study of Shastras, listening to Shastras from a guru, from a master who has learned it by tradition or by that the lineage of Guru Parampara. So then he can explain it with correct methodology, the systematic explanation. Then things are known, the subject discussed is thoroughly known, thoroughly learned. So with that thorough knowledge, you contemplate on that. So you practice that knowledge. Then in between, mind may ask many questions. Mind may bring many doubts. So then to clear those doubts, you have to find right application of logic. So that is also according to the Shastras, according to the system. So any logic you apply doesn't work. So everywhere, in every subject, the applied logic should be according to the subject. It should be on account of that things. When we learn Vedanta, we cannot apply this logic into mathematics, this logic into computer science. We cannot apply the logic into any other system. Because this logic, the logics used here is to understand this knowledge well. So it is going along with that. Yes, in some cases, there will be similar logics, similar systems, similar applications. That is, it can be used if in that case it is similar subject and it is bringing the same result. But each subject has its own way of application. Okay, so this is the application in Vedanta. So therefore, we can do some comparison. We will get more clarification. But always we have to learn that subject and then apply the logic. That's the problem. When people learn new subject, they apply their own logics. They apply the logics they learned, the theories, the formulas they learned into a new subject. Sometimes it goes wrong. Okay, so therefore, Jnana Abhyasa means Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. All these together. Nididhyasana is meditation only. After you apply your logics and the mind accept it and take it as truth, and mind is always into that. There is no doubt. So this is called Abhyasa. With this, Vinirmala. So mind get purified. All the distractions of knowledge, all the obstructions of knowledge, the opposite thoughts are removed. So now there is no chance of thoughts, negative thoughts. Therefore, it is clear, vinirmalam, pure, purified. So this is the purpose of Vritti Jnaana. Okay, so this is what is happening. Is all this happening because of Vritti Jnaana. You learned Vritti Jnaana from Sravana, and by practice of manana, you made it more stronger with the support of logics. So this Vritti Jnana become now very strong, and constantly those thoughts are applied. So kritva jnanam swayam nashe. Then this knowledge, kritva jnanam swayam nashe. You say, Shankaracharya says here, this jnana will die itself, will disappear itself. This jnana will dissolve itself into the self-knowledge, the real knowledge, the nature of Brahman. Now, this is the technical state of mind. Now, this Vritti Jnana, the knowledge what you gain for a prolonged practice for many, many years is going to dissolve in the nature of Brahman itself. So in this stage, this knowledge has no meaning. It is meaningless. It is useless. But before this, that knowledge was very much useful. Without that, it was not possible. But after that, it is not useful. If it is there, it is an obstruction. It is really an obstruction for the experience of Brahman. So that this knowledge to dissolve. For example, we take the same example of sleep. You see, sleep is the only example we can see regarding all this. Therefore, we have learned what is the experience of deep sleep in Atmabodha. Now, in deep sleep, you see, before deep sleep, you think about deep sleep. I want to get the sleep, and now I am ready to sleep. You do all the arrangements for sleep, and you think about sleep, 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 sleep. But at last, what happens? This thought of sleep disappears. Then the sleep comes. Then you are in sleep. So there is no thinker of sleep. There is no thought of sleep. Now we are only experiencing the sleep. The experience is there. The experience remains. All other part of that is dissolved. If those are not dissolved, sleep cannot happen. If you have this, I'm not getting sleep, I am not getting sleep, and this problem, this pain, that pain. If you think all this, these are the obstruction of sleep. So when you are ready for sleep, you try to forget all those. You don't think about pains and problems. Just forget. Then the sleep will come. So this is what is happening here. This Brahma Jnana, which we are achieved with the study of Vedanta for a long time, then we reached at that stage. Now this Brahma Jnana itself is going to dissolve. It will solve all the other problems and it itself dissolves. It removes all the impurities and it itself dissolves, disappears in Brahma. Okay. So again, for this, you see in each words there is an example. The example befitting for the concept conveyed here, the idea conveyed here. Now one example is Jalam Kataka Renuvat. Jalam, you know, water. Water Kataka Renuvat. I don't know you know this thing, but Kataka Renu means, say, Kataka net. It is a cleansing net. Cleansing net. You might not have heard about this. In India, we have this net. Say, we have a tree called Kataka tree. Almost all the states of India, we have this. And I have seen it. I have used this. You see how God made all these things. This is like, no, it is like it works like a soap, washing soap. It can be used as washing soap and it can be used to clear the water. It clears the muddy water. So what we do, we plug the nets of this tree and then dry it. After drying, it become like a little blackish color. Then make powder of that. Okay. So it is called Kataka Renu. We can see here Kataka Renu. Renu means powder. Powder, the particles, small particles. It's called Renu. So the particles of Kataka. So if the water, one bucket full of water, if that is muddy water, because in the rainy season, in those days, here in villages, they used to get only muddy water, because where they get water, it become mixed with mud and the rainy water and all those. Or even in rivers, you get only muddy water in those days. So they bring that water and the surface of water, they put this Kataka Renu, the particles, the powder of this Kataka. Okay. So just mix with the hand and keep for some time. So after some time, it settles down. No, it settles down after some time with clearing the water. What it does, because when you mix this with the water, it takes the muddy particles with that. This the particles of Kataka. It takes the mud particles along with that and settles down. And you can see in the bottom like a blackish thing in the bottom, and the water will be clear. And it has some antibacterial effect also. So this is what is called Kataka Renu. Nowadays we use the alumen, what we say alum, A-L-U-M, alum, or alumen, A-L-U-M-E-N. So this is what we use. Aftershave also, we use this aftershave, what we say here. So aftershave, we use this alum to clear this, maybe that this antibacterial effect, we use that. So this is used for this alum. So you just mix alum with the water. After sometimes the water will be clear. So this is what we say. And the botanical name of this Kataka Redu, I found out it. Trigonus pototorum. It's a very difficult word. No, you know the botanical words be like that. So I can give you the spelling and you can search that. Strychnos. Strychnos. Potatorum. The pototorum, something like that is pronounced. So this is called Katakarenu. It is still available. Still you can see this tree in many places. So this is how it is happening. Now what this Katakarenu does? It does the cleaning of the water, cleansing of the water, and it itself settles down. That is the important thing. So Brahmajnana, the Vritti Jnaana also does the same thing. It clears all other thoughts and Swayam dissolves into Brahman. So there is no separate thought left. Okay. Now there is no tool. There is no user of that tool. Both are dissolved. There is no I. There is no mind. There is no ego. There is no mind. There is no separation of that. It becomes one. Then you are one with the Brahman. Brahmavid, Brahmavi bhavati. This is the real knowledge of Brahman. So this is called Paravidya. Ena tadaksharamadigamyate. Paravidya. That was Aparavidya. So para and aparora. This is Aparoksha Jnana. And that was Paroksha Jnana. Indirect knowledge and direct knowledge. So what is experienced now in this stage of realization is Paroksha Jnana, Aparoksha Jnana, and what was there was Paroksha Jnana. So this is Jnanam Swayam Nashet Kataka Renuvata. So this example is given there. So then there is no thinker and there is no thought. There is no separation of this. So both are one with Brahman. And now the next sloka, the sloka, sixth sloka, from here sixth sloka to 11th sloka, Shankaracharya is going to discuss the nature of world, creation. So till now we discussed the nature of Brahman and the sadhana of that. Now, what are the impurities? Because the last sloka said the knowledge of Brahman, Brahmajnana will remove all the impurities. It will purify all the impurities. Now, what are those impurities? Because of ignorance, that is discussed in the sixth sloka. Samsara swapna tulyo hi ragadveshadi sankulaha swakale satyavadbhati prabodhe satyasadbhavet. So samsara, this phenomenal world, the ever-changing world, the samsara swapna tulyohi. This phenomenal world is like a dream. Raga dveshadi sankulaha. Why it is so? Because this world of this dream is with all the raga and dvesha, the full of attachments, love and hatred. With all this problem, there is adi also. The raga, dvesha, adi, and so on. So raga, dvesha, adi sankulaha. Samsaraha swapna tulyo hi raga, dvesha, adi sankulaha. Why you say this is like a dream? What is the reason? Tajarji says, Swakale Satyavad Bhati. Why it is said as a dream? Because when there is dream, it appears to be real. It appears to be real experience. In the dream state, we don't know it is unreal. We enjoy it as very real. This is the function of mind. We can say the beauty of mind. No, it is always identified with the experience, the state of experience. When you are in dream, mind doesn't say you are in dream. No, it is not real. You wake up and understand it is unreal. No, it doesn't say that. There is no hint that you can find that this is dream. In dream, you are one with that. You are the experiencer of dream. And when you wake up, that dream has no existence. It's completely unreal. You feel that I lost all that sweet experience. You know, this is all just it was dream. There is no reality for that. Therefore, it is said, Swakale Satyavad Bhati. Swakale means when it appears. Swakalaha, when it appears in that time. Satyavad Bhati, it appears to be real. Satyavat, as if it is real. As if it is real, that's what we experience. But prabodhe sati asad bhaved. On waking, prabodhe sati. On waking, asad bhave. It becomes unreal. It automatically becomes unreal. You will never say, whatever I experienced in the state of dream, it was real. So now, how does the illusory world appears as real? That is illustrated in this sloka. So now we have to analyze the swapna, the dream state. You make a study of dream state. Analyze the dream state very well. Then you can understand whatever happening in this world is also like dream only. It's all tricks of thoughts, the play of mind. it appears to be real, but it's unreal. What we are seeing outside as objects, different colors, 7 colors, and there are many manifestations. It's all made of brain, nothing there outside. Everything is there in the brain only. This is what the modern science says. No, it's all holography. You know the holography? There is a famous book, Holographic Universe. You might have heard about this. Because once upon a time it was a bestseller book, Holographic Universe. I think still it is available. It is very interesting to read that, how mind works. All what we see is a holography of the projection of mind, projection of brain. There is no color outside. There is no object outside. There is no shape outside. There is no movement outside. Nothing is there. Everything is the function of brain. If that particular part of brain is not functioning, you will not realize the color. No, there is difference between the visuals of different animals. Like human beings, we can see many colors. And in human beings also, you know that women can see more colors than men. That is what science says. Women can see more colors than men. Men can see only less. Therefore, they are so much attached to colors. When they go for marketing, purchasing clothes and things, they see many colors and select. It's interesting. Because they have more identifications, more. That is what the Shastra says. So, what is the difference? The function of the brain, that is different. Now, people like colors, different colors. That is with their characters. We have a science on that. Even in an Indian Jyotishastra, astrology, we have a part that the colors and each person has different colors. Each star has different colors. It's like that. So all these are connected to brain. Therefore, a person like a particular color because he has some connection with that. His brain has some connection with that. Okay. So this is what the swapna. This is what the dream. So analyze the dream. We will discuss it more on next session. This is the sloka. So meanwhile, you study about dream state. I can suggest you one Upanishad which has all the discussion of this dream. That is Mandukya Karika. You might know this. So in the Mandukya Karika, the second part of Mandukya Karika, Vaitathya Prakarana, and the third part also discussing. You can read Mandukya Karika with the English translation and the commentary of Shankaracharya. So there is a detailed discussion of this. And if you are you like to read Holographic Universe, I suggest this book, Holographic Universe. You can get from Amazon or online is also available. This is also interesting because the same subject, how the mind creates holography and how it can be changed, the holographic universe. So this is what the Vedanta says. This phenomenal world is nothing but as a part of sleep, or is like a dream. Om Purnamataha Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. We have 5 minutes for questions. If yeah.
Yes, Swamiji. There is Srimati Jaya from Bangalore. She has sent us few questions.
Yes.
First one, how are thoughts generated? How are vrittis formed? And what are the stages that lead to these vrittis?
Yeah, this how the thoughts are formed. You can learn if you know the brain science. That is obvious that brain science deals with this thought process. We learned that. And according to Vedanta, the objects are outside, and then the sense organs, the connection of object and sense organs, the activity, the mind has some activity. So then the thoughts are formed. And in each thought, there will be a reflection of consciousness. So when the consciousness identify the thought, then we say that we know. When I say I know book, it means the consciousness, the Sakshi, has identified, has seen the object in the mind, the book in the mind. And this is what we call as thought. So the object is outside, but now it seems to be inside. So that is called thought process. Now, we already had discussed many times of how to control thoughts, what are the variations and different functions of thought. So again, we will discuss those things even in Atmabodha. Yeah. Any other question?
Yeah. Does that mind get associated and restricted by a particular body? If so, how? As the mind is more subtle than the gross body, how does it get limited to the body?
You see, it has two aspects. One is that when mind is connected to one body, we can take the example of the air outside and the prana inside, the air inside. Now, how the outside air is connected to inside air? We breathe air, that is inside air. Similarly, the mind is subtle, but each body is connected to that. Therefore, it is said in Sankhya Darshana, the Sankhya Darshana has one aspect of this. It says mind is also all-pervading. The subtle body is all-pervading because it has no limitation. But it is attracted to a gross body, like the air is conceiving the life of body. The life is there in the body because of the oxygen, because of the air outside. So similarly, we can understand that. And we can take another example, as we everywhere we discuss about this space outside and space inside. A similar thing we can understand. Now, the identification with the body. Identification with the body is inborn, it is natural. The inherent process of manifestation, that we are identifying ourselves with the body. So we have not planned and we have not learned to identify ourselves with the body. It is inherent in us. So once the body is ready, the mind is active, and then the identification is also there. So it should be rightly applied. We should meditate on that, and we apply our knowledge or discrimination. We can separate the identification, or we separation means we know how it is identified. That's all. There is no separation. As long as life is there, there is no separation, actual separation of mind and body. There is no actual separation of prana and body. So therefore, like we see, we already had seen in Attmabodha, like in dream, the dream world is created by mind. So this body, the gross body is sleeping. So it means all the actions, although the brain is used by the mind, the brain is used, brain is active. But the body, which is running there, sitting there, eating there, is different from this body which is sleeping. So like that, mind can create all the thoughts connected to this body, and how mind is attached to this body, that you can understand by the example of the air outside and air inside. So this is how we can understand that, how it is connected. Okay. Question
One more.
completed? One more. Okay.
Yeah, one
please.
more. Deep sleep experience is the same as Atman. This is experienced in deep sleep as no experience. If we cannot know this experience, then how can we know Atma? Is the no experience same as Atma?
Yeah. The experience what we have in sleep, deep sleep, has no thought process. It cannot be transformed into thoughts. Okay, that is what she's trying to say. So therefore we say we don't know what happened. Still we have the experience. So we are unable to say what happened. There is no words, there is no idea, there is no thought process that we can say through that how we had the experience. So that experience cannot be transformed and transmitted to the mental state as the mind. But still we have the experience that shows That experience is, however, identical with Atma. It is beyond mind and intellect. Whatever is there in the grasp of mind, in the territory of mind, it can be transformed in the thought, into the thoughts, delivering thoughts, active thoughts. So which are not in the territory of mind, cannot be transformed and transmitted into the thought. That's why the experience of deep sleep cannot be transformed into thought, and you cannot say it's my knowledge. It cannot say. You can only say I experienced it. This is my experience. I know it by experience. So this much thorough understanding is there. That experience is it's always there. But because since it is beyond intellect and thought process, it cannot be said. In modern science, it is well researched on this deep sleep state. So they uses machines and count the thought waves, and then say 0.5. That's the deep sleep state. Only that much thought process is there. The waves are only that much. The waves are there. So it is well known in modern science as well.
Last question, Swamiji.
Hmm.
What happened when a person becomes Brahmagyani? Is he able to do any karma? From Sumanta Haura. From Haura, she's.
This we have already discussed. After knowledge, he become undoer. He has no doership. Whatever being performed by his gross body is because of prarabdha. So as we now, whenever we try to do something, we have a desire and we plan for that, and we have a very strong doership. And with all this connected, we perform an action. But in his case, his body and mind is carried away by action. It means he is not deliberately forcing to do it, but his body and mind is carried away by karma, by prarabdha karma, and it is being done. It is in passive voice. He is not in active voice. His action is in passive voice. It is being done, that's all. He is not the doer, but it is being done. This is how we say prarabdha shesha. And that is how we could see jnanis, all these jnanis, famous jnanis, Shankaracharya, and there are so many jnanis, Ramana Maharshi, and this, they all did tapasya, and after that they realized themselves and they did some service to the humanity, giving their knowledge, giving their knowledge to all the seekers. So this is all, done by their prarabdha karma. Okay. Thank you. Hari Om. Om Purnamadaha Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.